And then now, as I only mentioned like a few seconds ago, we see Renee Young backstage with the New Day. And Ashton, I'm going to let you take this one. What did you think of this New Day segment?
Oh my God, dude. I'm going to quote myself. You know what we need to start doing? We need to start recording our discussions that we have during Raw. And rather than uploading the entire video as just like one big live reactions, just taking little bits and pieces and playing those bits and pieces that we feel are important and meaningful immediately before we continue talking about that segment. Because that, like I said, that we've got some borderline Clockwork Orange level psychology going on right now, because these guys are getting freaking dark, and I mean darker than anything the WWE's put out in a decade.
You know what I told you in response to that, which I think kind of adds on to the whole, recording thing. This may be now, and I can't believe I'm saying this after how staunchly I wanted it, and you know that better than anybody. This may be far more interesting and far more compelling than that militant mid-card kind of group that they were originally going with Xavier Woods and the Tux and be spectacled and kind of speaking truth to power, if you will. And as much as I wanted that, this is far more intriguing because in the case of the former, they were pretty much out as heels. You know, it was plain as day. Like, oh, this is the direction we're going. You know, aggressive equals heel. This actually has some ingenuity behind it, and, you know, they're hiding behind these smiles, and I think that's what makes it all the more enthralling to watch.
I don't think it ever was intended to be this. I think maybe they started the group with the intention of, if you guys get over, you're going to stay face. If you don't, we can just turn you heel, and that'll be fine, and you'll be Nation of Domination all over again. But what it has become is so much more and so much better than anything I think even the WWE could have ever even dreamt of.
You have to wonder if these guys, you know, being Xavier, Kofi, and Big E, if maybe they were able to, to kind of hash it out with people being like, hey, you know, New Day, it's not getting over. We're going to turn you guys through maybe New Nation or whatever. And then maybe Xavier, I could imagine Xavier Woods piping up and saying, no, we got something here. Let's just go with it. Because these guys, man, they get into it. Because when Renee Young asks Xavier Woods how it feels, he says, it hurts, Renee. It hurts. And he's just got this look on his face of just like sadness. And then Kofi Kingston says, you know, it's disappointing, but you won't find disappointment in our dances, our chants, or our flying. And then
clapping.
Big E, or clapping. Yeah, he mentions the clapping as well. Then Big E takes the stand to speak, and man, just consistently we ask ourselves the question, how is this guy not doing more right now, even though we are really starting to enjoy what he is doing? Because he imitates this kid coming up to him at the airport while he's trying to eat and to ask if he's able to sign, you know, this breakfast menu. And he says, you know, sure he will. And, pretty much says, you know, how he does all that, you know, just to keep the positivity going and everything else. And then I don't know who said it. I don't know if they said it as a group or if it was Xavier Woods who said it. And then they said, you know, if we don't clap, we snap. And then they walk off clapping. And then immediately as they say, like, if we don't clap, we snap, they start clapping with these smiles on their faces and they go off. It's crazy.
That's what I meant, though, when I said that this had, like, some Clockwork Orange level stuff going on, because these guys are, like, freaking sociopaths.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because to me it kind of has the vibe, you know, when Big E's talking about fans and everything else, it kind of has that vibe that Sandow had a while back when he was going through all the gimmicks and he was cutting promos like, oh, see, am I a good little soldier? Am I a good puppet? I mean, again, they're not as out and about it, which I really like. But, you know, it kind of has that vibe like that. Like, we've got to do it this way. Otherwise it gets really ugly, ... for you. And I really like that. And I'm very curious to see where it goes. But we do, I guess, kind of find out where it goes because then these guys have a match, and Xavier Woods and Big E are representing the New Day this week, so Xavier Woods finally getting some in-ring shine.
Which is great to see.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
I am a huge fan of Woods.
Oh, I know you are, man, and you know that I've known him for quite a while, even back in his time in TNA, so I too really like him. But against the Lucha Dragons, and it's worth noting, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro are watching backstage. And
Scouting Lucha Dragons, man.
dude, the tag team division is interesting. I'm telling you, like, the whole undercard, and even like I told you, 'cause I keep saying, oh, the undercard, but then I have to catch myself and I have to be like, oh, wait, Seth Rollins is champion and he has legitimate contenders. Even the main event scene is interesting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But a New Day takes advantage because this crowd, as you said a few segments prior, they were like the mini-me of the post-WrestleMania Raw crowd, because when Kofi tries to rally the crowd with the whole banging on the apron, some kind of rhythm, it's New Day sucks, and then they keep the New Day sucks chant going, and Xavier Woods just looks so perturbed by it and everything else, but you can tell like they're just kind of, the gears are turning, they're becoming a little bit more sinister, and they're just starting to, I guess, turn and be like, you know what, screw these guys. But despite their best efforts, they do fall to the Lucha Dragons. This time it's Sin Cara who picks up the pin on Xavier Woods after his beautiful looking senton. So Lucha Dragons pick up the win. And I mean, that's another thing. You said Kid Cesaro were scouting the Lucha Dragons. If these two teams are on a collision course for Extreme Rules for those tag titles, oh my god, what a match that's going to be. I am really jazzed up for this Extreme Rules card and how it's shaping up, man.
Yeah. They always do this, though. We need to not allow them to fool us, because Extreme Rules is always a good pay-per-view. The time that they get into trouble with their pay-per-views is late May and June, and then usually July is Money in the Bank, but even that's changed around this year. So whatever month isn't Money in the Bank, whatever months, I guess it would be, there are 2 months that aren't Money in the Bank between Extreme Rules and SummerSlam are their trouble months. Those are the months we need to really be on the lookout to make sure that they're stepping up their game. But yeah, Extreme Rules tends to always be great, and it's looking like it's going to continue that trend this year, which is awesome.
If I understood you right, Money in the Bank is in June this year, I believe.
So then May and July are to worry about.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But our next matchup, which I'm going to have you kind of take the reins on, again, pun totally intended, Roman Reigns versus Big Show, because you actually you gave this match a passing grade at the end of it. So what did you think of it?
I have a new thing with Roman Reigns that people are gonna probably cringe at.
Okay. Oh, I think I know what you're referring to. But yeah, share it, dude. I personally enjoyed it. I think it's intriguing, to say the least.
I am a huge fan of the way Roman Reigns takes a beating, and I discovered this at WrestleMania. The way he was taking his beating from Brock was so good and so convincing. And I want more than anything right now for Roman Reigns to develop a little bit of a masochistic character where he loves pain, he enjoys pain, and he wants pain, but there's this empty hole in the pit of his stomach where he just can't find somebody that can deliver an acceptable amount of pain, which is what kind of causes him to go after Brock again. Because Brock is what got him started on this whole I love pain thing and made him realize how great it is, and he wants that feeling again, and Brock is the only one that can give it to him. And like, I just imagine Paul Heyman being horrified that this guy wants to get beat up by Roman Reigns or by Brock Lesnar, and just something in me wants this kind of dark, borderline psychopath, but not really like Dean Ambrose, John Moxley kind of psychopath. Just kind of like, I like to feel pain and I want more of it. Like a Tommy Dreamer level psychopath is really what I can say. Like the thank you, may I have another kind of thing. And I want that to be Roman Reigns, because I think that would be a really good way to get him over as a babyface, which is something the WWE obviously wants to do, but they clearly apparently have no idea how to do it.
The two main reasons I really like that, just to kind of talk about that for a second before we get into the actual matchup, it's twofold. Because, one, I don't think anybody would expect that kind of a shift from Roman Reigns, of all people, because it's kind of like, who's going to break off the Shield and be the heel. Yeah. I think the whole conversation was, it's going to be Roman Reigns, no, it's going to be Dean Ambrose, and it was Seth Rollins. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. That whole gimmick you described, and then you said Dean Ambrose, and I'm like, oh my god, it really would be perfect for Dean Ambrose, right? It should be amazing. But then you find out that it's Roman Reigns, who just gets so, fed up, like, family this and family that, and Paul Heyman throwing all this stuff in his face, and then he fails to do it at WrestleMania, and it's almost like, he enjoys the beatings that Brock gives him, and he can take it. It's almost like Brock completes him in this really perverse sense.
Yeah, almost Joker-esque.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's interesting in that account. And then the second thing, it actually does, in its own way, at least in my opinion, give credence to the idea that Roman Reigns could beat Brock Lesnar one-on-one.
Yep.
Because I think the greatest weapon that Brock Lesnar has in his arsenal isn't, the suplexes that he does, it's fear. You look at Brock Lesnar, you know you're going to get your ass beat, and there is something incredibly intimidating about that. But
And with this gimmick, Roman Reigns would want nothing more than that.
Like, he would be offended. He would be upset if he got less than that. So here's Paul Heyman with all of his mannerisms and near stroke moments just thinking, oh my God, Brock, what have we done? What have we done? We've created somebody. We've created a monster.
Yeah.
And, it's like, can Roman Reigns now, when he enjoys this, beat Brock Lesnar? I have no doubt, with Brock staying for another 3 years, that we are going to get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again.
That's my thing, though. Like, I feel like it would have been more effective of a storyline if Brock was still the champion.
Right.
But, I mean, who's to say he can't win the title back between now and next year's WrestleMania? Or the next year's? We have him for 3 years, don't we?
Oh, he's winning the title back.
Yeah.
Heyman even tweeted, and I loved it. He said, if you think this is the last time, and it was a picture of him and Brock walking down the WrestleMania ramp, of course, with the title around Brock's waist. And he said, if you think this is the last time that this image is going to occur, then you clearly just don't get it. And I'm like, don't worry, Paul. I get it. Because as much as I'm behind Seth Rollins and whoever he could drop the title to, for the next 3 years, as far as I'm concerned, that title is the property of Brock Lesnar, and everybody else is just living on borrowed time. That's honestly how I see it. The guy's just so dominant, he's definitely getting that title back. But with that said, on to this match with Big Show. And, it wasn't a bad match. I think it was better than some of their other matches. Big Show, being the giant that he is, kind of imposes his will and dominates. There's even, a point in the match where he gets kind of a Vader bomb in the corner on Reigns. But then, at the end of the day, Roman Reigns does kind of, get his stuff in, but I think it took like 3 Superman punches to put away the Big Show. But then, Big Show is going to go for a 4th. Big Show caught him for a choke slam, but Reigns, countered it, and he hit a spear on Big Show, and that's how Roman Reigns gets the win. So they made Big Show, as the Under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner, and this quote-unquote giant, look pretty legit, eating 3 Superman punches and a spear, and I think it made Reigns look like he actually had something to overcome. So from those perspectives, I think this match definitely succeeded.
Yeah, absolutely.